Family, family, family. Oh my God. I want y'all to watch this clip before I introduce anybody. Watch this clip right now, okay? And then we're gonna come back.
But that's what's wrong with this generation today. These young boys today, what do she bring to the table? The hell you mean, man? What do your ass bring to the table? You got a woman that can come to the table that can make another you. What else she need to slide up to the table with? What about your job? What happened to men who were supposed to be responsible? Do you know that it's our job to take care of a woman and some children, to have a family? That's our job.
So, this is the Double Edge in our man cave.
Yes, sir.
I'm Kurt, your host of the most. My man Brandon right here.
Yo.
My man Andrew the Rose.
Hello, hello.
Of course, you know my man Stephon right here.
Howdy.
And Andrew knocking it down on my far left.
How y'all doing?
Guys. Now, those are two of my favorite celebrities.
Yeah.
Now, one of them just said she can make a whole nother person.
Yes.
I don't know how she's going to do it by herself.
Oh. That part.
Now, I kind of agreed with some of the things he said, but forget about what I think. Guys, somebody hit me up now. Let me know. Do you think this man is crazy or this man is okay?
Nah, straight up, he tripping.
Okay, he tripping.
Madness.
The way he made it seem is as if she don't have to bring anything to the table at all.
Like nothing?
Like that's what I got from the video.
Why?
That's what
Did we watch the same video?
You watched the same video. I just want to make sure he said nothing.
That's what it seems like.
Okay.
It seemed that way to me,
Well,
too.
he said, what else does she need to bring? That was his...
Which means she only bringing...
She just bring her reproductive organs.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
See, y'all not listening to the clip.
Okay.
What he said, that's the problem with young men.
Okay.
They're too busy asking, what is she bringing to the table, instead of asking themselves, what am I bringing to the table? It was an introspective statement. He was not saying, she doesn't have to do anything, she just has to show up. He was saying, before you worry about what she's bringing, make sure you have something to bring yourself.
I feel like he should have said
I
that
agree with
more
what you
specifically.
said, Seth. I agree with what you said. But the way he worded it, it came off completely
No,
different way.
I think that was his objective. As I said earlier off camera, I think that's objective. However, what he did state, and when he introduced the reproductive argument, that kind of skewed his interpretation. Because a woman cannot produce or recreate somebody by herself. But I understand what he's saying. And I agree with you, Stephon. He was being introspective. However, you got to know how to say things if you're trying to get a message across.
Yeah, but just like how they talk
Especially
about
to
guys.
the younger generation.
Oh,
Go ahead.
But even so, even though they, like what they say about guys, not having a kid makes you a good father, right? So not being able to create a human being, what does that do? That doesn't make you a good mother. That doesn't make you a good woman. That doesn't make you a productive part of the relationship. So
It absolutely does.
what?
So if you have the
Stick a pin right here. What absolutely does? He said three things. Which of the absolutely does it go with? All three or one specific?
No, the last one when he said it doesn't bring, what did you say, value?
No, not. It doesn't make you a good mother.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a productive part of the relationship.
Right. Yes, you are producing a whole person. Granted, it didn't happen solely. She didn't just show up and say, "Oh, you want kids? Here you go."
Yeah, but after
not
she
just
brings
talking
forth a
about
child,
physically
what happens
producing.
after that? Yeah, what happens after that?
I mean, that's between you and her. But you can't say that she's not producing anything.
No, well, not in the reproduction part of it, not just birthing. I'm not just talking about birthing.
Okay.
I'm talking, what does she bring? What productive? What is she adding to the relationship?
To the
moving
relationship.
So
forward?
what you're
But
saying is that
she's adding to the family.
No,
the
okay.
child that you're growing a family. You're creating a legacy.
So I think what I hear you're saying is that what is she adding? How is she adding value to the family just by being a incubator or a womb and a man just being a sperm? That's what you're saying? I mean,
yes, not well.
my
mo-
words are
moving
bad.
forward. Yeah, it made it kind of seem
Yeah.
kind of yeah. But
But you're
moving
saying,
forward,
okay, moving forward, how does just being able to create a child
Right.
with a man?
'Cause men get hit with
makes
that all the
you-
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
how to be able to create a child with a man makes you a productive partner or a
Right.
good partner? That's what you're saying?
right, right.
And I'm saying it's by creating life, by giving you that child. How many of us up here did not want to have children? I know I wanted a son to pass on my name, and I wanted a little girl. I couldn't have done that on my own. Yes, adoption and whatever. There are other options and other ways.
That's not the argument.
But the fact that my wife can do that, that is being a productive partner because she's giving me something that I want.
Right, but
She's
that's
helping
one-
me
that's
create
one
the
trait.
family that I want.
That's one trait that she has that you're saying,
Yes.
which is a good trait.
Yes.
But what else
Again,
is expected of your
that's
wife?
that's between you and your wife. We can go to the Bible and see
mean,
what
yes,
a good wife is, what her role is, and what she's supposed to do, and all of that. Absolutely.
Right, but isn't that the other argument of what the man's role is? Like you said, before even asking what is her role, what is yours first? If the man has a role, why does it not matter at the beginning for the woman also?
Because we're not talking about roles.
That's
We're talk-
exactly
we're-
what it's talking
no,
about.
we're talking
what do
about
you bring to the
value.
table is what role do you bring to this relationship?
Not what role. It's what do you have that adds to the relationship.
Well, that's not.
Well,
Well,
that
hold on
could
a
be
second.
seen
Let's
as-
bring
as
it
a
back to what
role.
he said, because, like Brandon said, he said, what else does she need to bring?
Right.
That's what he said. So it is. If he had said men should introspect and think about it, but when Steve went into, I'm sorry for calling his name but everybody knows who it is. When Steve went into saying she can produce a whole person, what else does she need to do? Is that what he said, or that's what he implied? Correct?
Yeah.
He at least implied that. I think that's the challenge many men are having, or many people are having, or we're having.
Correct.
Okay.
So, because I get what you were saying about the new generation or the younger generation expecting or wanting a female to do more and to take on more responsibility of what a man's quote-unquote role is when it comes to providing. I feel like that's what the whole gist of the video was. It was providing, because you guys heard about the younger generation saying everything to go Dutch. I think that's the new term that they use, 50-50. Like the man pays half, woman pays half and everything. And Steve Harvey's stance is that the man should be the sole provider for everything. You shouldn't be asking the woman to provide anything, because from what I took from the videos, because she's able to produce another you, which you can duplicate yourself pretty much and continue on your, like you said, the legacy or whatever. But my stance is, outside of financial means or monetary or whatever, I feel like both individuals needs to be able to bring something of value to a relationship for it to be a successful relationship. Let's say a man is the sole provider of his household. I feel like a woman needs to be able to bring something else of value. Can she help duplicate that money, or does she have the intelligence of knowing how to invest that money to make it grow? Or is she a good cook or whatever? If she's not bringing anything else to the table except the fact that she can reproduce a
Or
child,
even just
to
a
me,
good mother.
that's-
Just because you can produce babies doesn't make you a good mother.
that's true. But that's my point. Just because you can only do this
That's not enough.
is not enough.
Okay, so from a biblical standpoint, and even if you look in society, what's the role of a woman? What's the role of a man? Let's get down to that.
Let's start with the man.
Let's do the
first.
brass tacks. What's the role of a man?
Man's role is to protect and provide for his family.
Okay.
And provide isn't just, well, like in biblical times, they didn't have like money until like Caesar type era, but to provide was to, bring in the food, make sure that your family is fed, make sure there's a roof over their head, make sure that they're protected from enemies or like wild animals. That was the man's role.
Also the spiritual head of the
Yeah, I
home.
would say
And
a man's
spiritual
role
head,
was
yes.
to provide, protect, and that just means physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Okay, so,
Priest at home.
so you provide, you protect, you preserve your family. That's what you do as a man. Is as a priest, as the protector, as a provider, the worker, whatever, okay? All right, so that's the man's role. And all of these roles are done for the family, which includes the wife and children. They are put first.
Correct.
Right.
Like Christ,
Well,
the man
God,
should
no,
rise.
no, God is put
God
first.
is first.
Of course, God is
we know.
God is first.
God
But
is
in terms of on this earthly realm,
Yes.
the man should be willing to die for his wife, die for his kid, like Christ died for the church, correct?
Correct.
Sacrifice.
So we are the sacrifice, if anything. If anybody's going hungry in the house, it is I, the man.
Right.
Correct.
If anybody has to die for this family to live, it is I, the man. That's my role.
Agreed.
First.
It's my family.
Yeah.
I take the lead.
Right.
Correct.
Agreed.
What's the woman's role?
The woman's role is to help mate. Is to help the man do all those things. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
I
y'all
mean,
got?
that's your opinion, but that's also what the Bible says.
Right, that's
Like,
biblical.
she was
No,
specifically
Some,
created
some
to be
people
a
disagree.
helpmate to her
I'm
husband.
just saying, some people disagree with that.
Well, you
I mean, they can disagree, but what it is, what is it?
Right, that it is what it is.
It is what it is,
But
right?
then we have to define like what a helpmate is, especially for our audience.
Well, there,
Well, it's not. We know what the man's role is. We just defined that. We stated
Right.
what it is, and the woman's role is to help the man accomplish those things.
Accomplish his goals.
So the woman's supposed to
his
help
role,
the man.
help him, support him in his role.
Okay.
Right, support him in his role, but
Yes.
like
What does
Brent-
that look like physically? Is what you're asking.
Like he mentioned, he gave a good example before. Like, okay, the man brings in all the money. Her as the helper, how can she help invest that money? How can she make that money grow? While he's like going to work and coming home, she could be the one that's, wait, we should put our money here. We should invest in this. We should do that.
Gotcha.
Also
Gotcha.
spending.
And spending, yeah.
You know, how to get what you're getting and to be a good steward of that money.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. So I've heard this.
That's just one example.
Just one example, but I've heard this statement before. Women multiply things.
Correct.
Give a woman a seed, she turns into a baby. A human multiplies sperm.
Okay.
Give a woman food, she makes a meal. Give a woman a house, she makes a home.
Okay.
Give a woman pain, she makes suffering. Give a woman, whatever you give a woman, she multiplies it.
Yeah.
She incubates it and multiplies and gives it back to you,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Now, that's one thing that we can say women do naturally. But in terms of the role, woman, my wife, your wives, or we want our wives to support us in being the protector and the provider, giving us insights where we're blind spots, right? Because we can't see everything around us.
Correct.
So if she hears a noise at night, tell me so I can go investigate. Don't get up and try to do it yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
True.
If the kids need some money to do this, tell me. Don't try to get it yourself, right?
True.
Because
Okay.
because as a leader, you can't know everything. So that's what we're saying.
Yes.
All right. So based on that, Steve Harvey's statement, we all know his name. Does it violate that?
No. If you are a functional adult in society or even in your own home, you're able to do something. You have thoughts, you have ideas, you know how to do things. Maybe you don't know how to cook that well. Maybe you can't. Maybe you're not the best homemaker, but you can still do something. And that by just being a person that can function, if you go into a relationship, you already have something you can give or provide.
Okay.
So yes, you can make people, but you can also do whatever you do on your own. So when we come together, we can do that
What is
together.
that? Because based on his statement is saying that she doesn't have to do anything else except that.
He's saying what else is as important or whatever else. That doesn't mean
So
he did not say she doesn't have to bring
So let me
anything
ask you, outside of being able to make another you, what would you expect or what would you want your wife to bring to the table?
But is making another you her role? We didn't define it as her role.
No,
You see-
I'm not asking as a role. I'm saying, what would you want
Because-
your wife to bring to the table to add value to your relationship?
Well, I think we already established that as support. But
So
what
you're
I'm saying,
I'm saying the name it. I'm saying to
Name
name
it?
You name it.
For-
What does that,
for
what
me
does that
personally?
support look like physically?
for me, that support looks like this. When I come home from a long day of work, she'll say, Kurt, you hungry? Make me a meal. If we're home and she hears a noise, she calls me. If she needs help moving something, call me to move it. If she's in fear or in doubt, she comes to me and let me know what is causing her anxiety, what's causing her doubt. If the kids need something, come to me. So that is what it looks like. Let me know what her feelings are, what her desires are. Letting me know those things, informing me.
So what I'm hearing is that you need your woman to be a good communicator.
Yes,
You need her to be a good cook.
yes.
What else? Because kind of wrap those up.
A good homemaker. I will fix things in the home, but she points out a lot of things that need repair sometimes. Sometimes I see some repair, sometimes I don't. So I will see, I'll clean it. Like, I like to clean the house. I don't like when my wife cleans the house because I just don't want her hands to get dirty like my hands. When I'm cleaning the house, I get into it, get into cleaning, and I really like to make sure that it's clean for her. When it comes to folding the clothes, I do not fold clothes well. I hate folding clothes. I roll them up like balls. I'm like, why do we have an iron? We have an iron, so why am I folding it that neat, right? So I just put it in the drawer, and she doesn't like that. She's like, it can't fit like that.
Right.
Like, yes, it can. You just don't push it hard enough.
Oh, no.
So she takes the clothes, folds the clothes up. So, that's how we complement each other.
So would you say tidiness and organization?
Probably more, I would
agree
say,
to the organization, yeah.
yeah, organization is some certain things, yeah.
Okay. Stefan, what about yourself? What's on your list?
I don't have a list.
So she don't have to bring nothing to the table.
She does. She just has to be. The only thing I want or expect from my wife is to love me. Like that. You don't have to do anything else. I've told her multiple times. You don't want to wash dishes? Don't wash dishes. You don't want to wash clothes? Don't wash the clothes. I know how to do those things. That's not why I married you. I didn't marry you to make my house a home. I didn't marry you to provide anything or give me anything. I married you because I loved you and I wanted to be with you. That's it.
So the only expectation you have from her is for her to love you. You don't expect her to do anything or bring anything or contribute anything.
No, if she does, great. That's icing on the cake.
But I feel
All
like
she has to do is be there.
So what if she stops loving you?
Now we have a problem.
But then what does loving you look like? 'Cause
That was
my
my
thing
next
is-
I think that's the question.
That was my next question.
You know,
if she loves
been
you,
her
he wouldn't
question.
have to ask for these things. Like, okay, I love you. I'm gonna do the dishes. I'm gonna do this because I love you. I'm not gonna make you do it all the time, or we're gonna do it vice versa. But he's saying it's not an expectation. It's I just want you to love me. And if somebody loves you, they're going to they're gonna want to sacrifice for you because
Right.
they love you. That's kind of what you're saying. That's
Basically,
the goal
yeah,
that you're
because
going-
exactly.
right.
Because if she loves me, she's not going to try to aggravate me. She's going to do what she can to help me, and she's just going to be nice.
But
That's all I need.
I don't think people try to aggravate you, but they eventually do. So,
We'll agree to disagree. Some people, when she's upset or frustrated, even if I didn't do it, she goes out of her way to be aggravating because she knows what she's doing is aggravating.
but I think people do it in general. But what I mean is this. In a relationship, you're always going to have conflict. If it's a healthy relationship.
Yes.
If it's healthy and it's genuine. And you're going to have that aggravating, annoying thing. However, I think what we're trying to tie down is, are there any roles in your household? Because in my household, there's certain roles. Like I said before, like my wife doesn't need to go in the yard. No, I don't want to go in the yard messing with stuff in the yard. Why?
Right.
Because I feel like she's not optimized there. She doesn't like it anyway. My wife is not an outdoor person. So when it comes to doing stuff in the yard, I take that lead right there. Cleaning the toilet, the bathroom, I take the lead right there. But when it comes to folding the clothes, that's one of my weaknesses. I don't do it. So she does. She takes the lead. So I think that's what we're trying to tie down. If there's anything like that in your household, but they seem to be no.
So like
No, there's not.
back in the day, it was more like the man was the one who went to work and the woman stayed home. So the woman mostly did all the housework and all the chores and took care of the kids. But now in today's, like usually most men and women, they both work. So they both go to work. You come home and you share the chores. So in that sense, you still, let me say, for me, I still what I'm looking for my wife is yes to be a supporter, but I'm not looking for you have to make sure that you make as much as me and we got to go 50-50 and all that is no. I'm still going to strive to be the provider for this family, and you're coming alongside and helping. And when it comes to like the chores of the house, like you said, the work outside, like I'm doing that. I'm not going to let my wife be outside in the hot sun doing the yard work and stuff, and the trash is like my thing. But when it comes to dishes and laundry, like we both share, we both do that. When it comes to raising the kids, it's both of us, not just you're doing this and I'm just sitting back and chilling and eating.
So
Even when it comes to cooking, I'm not the best cook, but I'll cook when I can to like alleviate her. But you cook better than me, so that's gonna be your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She takes the lead in certain things. You take lead in certain things.
Yeah.
So, and I agree. So, I think I do have certain things that I would expect from my wife, and that's just me. Because I believe on the opposite end, like when women are looking for a husband, there are certain marks that we have to make before they agree to marry us, right or wrong.
Yes.
Right.
So I feel like it's fair for us to have those same exact expectations for them as well. For myself, one, you would have to be a good mother. I would want you to be present in our kids' lives, because we know there are absentee parents for men and on women's side, right? So being present in our kids' lives, not being about work all the time. For myself, I have to make sure I make time for my kids. Same way I want to make sure my wife makes time for our kids. When it comes to cooking, I need me a wife that knows how to cook. I don't think I would have married my wife if she did not know how to cook. And I know how to, I consider myself a pretty good cook, but I like to be fed as well. So one of my things was, you need to learn you need to know how to cook. I want you to be able to cook make meals for our family. That's an expectation of mine. I'm more of the neat freak in the house when it comes to me and my wife. She's a little bit more the messy one. She won't get mad when she hears this on.
Yours too?
But there's different things. For instance, like I said, I hate doing the dishes. I put everything in the dishwasher before I scrub pots. But she's the opposite. She would actually wash the dishes, and she knows I don't like doing dishes. She knows every time I put them in the dishwasher, she knows because I cleaned them. And laundry, same thing. I will wash all the clothes, but I will not fold them.
I'm like that.
I'll wash everything in the house, be completely washed and clean, and it'll just be sitting in the hamper until she folds it, because I just hate folding clothes. But that's not an expectation of mine. That's something that we kind of grown accustomed to based on learning each other.
And I was going to mention that because a lot of what you were saying as expectations or what you want, you're not going to know any of that until it has. Like obviously, you don't know that she's going to be a good mother until she has one. So those types of things need to be communicated so that way they can develop that way.
But other things that I feel like you can expect for, like we said, communication.
Right.
Like I feel like it should be on both sides. I feel like every man should expect their wife to be a good communicator, the same way every woman should expect their husband to be a good communicator. That's something that both should be bringing to the table regardless.
Well, being a good communicator, there are different levels to that.
Yeah,
and people,
I agree.
People, grow into becoming good communicators.
Yes.
But what I would require from my wife is she going to encourage me? Is she going to uplift me? Is she going to be there after a rough day or life beating you up? Is she going to be there for me to, let's talk about it, be a listening ear?
I agree.
Those kind
Encouragement.
of encouragement.
That's on my list.
That
as well.
support.
Encouragement.
You need that support. You need that
Absolutely.
support.
And that's what the home is. That's what we said earlier. That's what a home is. Home is a place of safety and support. And that is what she can provide.
Right.
That's what that's part of her job. And we build a house, she makes it a home, right? Like the yard, I'll do all the work. My wife picks out the flowers. I put up the curtains. I don't pick them out. She decides the color. So, that's the home part of it, But if we hone down on what the mood was in terms of what she brings, I think if Mr. Harvey had left out what she brings, it would have been a more effective statement. But to highlight just the one thing that she brings, and she doesn't bring it because it's a shared responsibility.
Right.
It's a shared thing.
And
A woman does not bring a child into the world. A woman,
She brings the ability to bring a child into the world.
both bring the ability, men and women.
She can't do it by herself.
Neither can you.
Exactly.
That's his
what he's
point.
saying.
That's my point. We both.
She brings it and you bring it. If that's how you want to break it down,
that's
that's
what
fine.
shared
She
means.
still
But
brings.
The point
She
is,
still
how
does
can
it.
that be pointed out as that is the only thing she needs to bring if that's something that we both
She can't bring alone.
She did not. He did not say that. That's the only thing that she needs to bring.
That's debatable.
that's what
He
it's-
said
what I
she
got
can
from
do
her.
this. What else do you need?
Yes.
That doesn't mean.
And
that doesn't mean.
he's implying she doesn't need anything else.
No, he's not. That's
the
not. That's
assumption
not
I
how.
got.
Agree to
That's not how
disagree.
English works.
Agree
guys.
to disagree.
That's not how.
So
English
let's
works.
talk about the other point, because I feel like his main point was talking about the finance and the money aspect of it. we're in 2023 right now, right? So the old days is gone where women don't work at all. A lot of cases, there's women who make more than their significant other these days. Now, I would never expect my wife to be the sole provider because I have the ability to work myself. All right. So when we're going out, like so, we have date night later. Obviously, every time we go out, I pick up the tab, I pay the bill. But every so often, she offers to pay. She's like, "Babe, I'm treating you today." That I appreciate, and I love that about her. The fact that she's offered.
Right.
But let's say she's never offered ever any of our dates. I probably would feel a little different about her.
I could see that.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see that. The thing is, though, I think, like you mentioned earlier, 2023, one of the challenges with society today versus, I should say, in earlier times is the structure of work has changed, right?
True.
So work is no longer labor intensive.
True.
In physical labor intensive. It can be mental labor intensive, right?
Correct.
And I think one thing I've observed is that women tend to go through more mental challenges throughout their lives, sometimes earlier than boys. I think I've observed that. And consequently, I think many times women are easier, or should I say, women maneuver a mental space more flexible than men do. For example, I do believe that some of the mental health challenges that we face as men, women probably maneuver them, not all women, but I think I've observed in general, a little bit more, they're more familiar with it. They're more familiar with being told, okay, with having negative perceptions, body perceptions and stuff more than men. For example, probably none of us on the platform, but I've heard that men will require their wives to be in a certain physical condition, and they're not in it. Because people will, I think, accept probably a more rounder man than a rounder woman. I don't want to use the F word.
Okay.
So you're talking about society perception
Yeah.
of what?
So, okay, if you say a big man or a big woman, people accept a big man more so than a big woman in society. As a
When you say people, you're talking about majority of society?
Majority of society,
Will
yes.
accept a bigger man than a,
Okay,
or let's say
that
plus
first.
size man
How
than a
does
plus
plus
size
size,
woman?
yeah, plus size man over a plus size woman. I think.
I
Well,
disagree.
well, it's changing now. It's changed now drastically. But I think that that's one of the things that.
I feel like that was more like the media showing, like, if you look at like old like sitcoms and television shows, usually the man always had a bigger belly and the woman was always slim fit.
Exactly.
But that was TV, that was entertainment.
No, you're
That's
right.
what people desired.
Exactly.
But in reality and in our actual society, I don't think that was accepted.
And I'll say, but that's the stereotype that we see, right?
Right.
And we embrace it, right? So what I'm saying is that because of that and these different things, women, I think, are a little bit more mentally ready than men are. They grow up faster than us. And I think consequently,
When you say mentally ready, what do you mean? Mentally ready for what?
so they mature faster.
They're more mature.
More mature.
Okay,
And
yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, and because of that maturity and the different things which sometimes biology forces women to be more prepared, to plan more than men. Men don't have to plan as much as women sometimes because of biology in itself. Like my wife, she plans out certain days of the month that I don't have to plan out. You know what I'm saying? So I think because of that requirement for women, they tend to be able to maneuver a more mental space, not all of them, but more fluid than men. And work has changed from being as labor intensive as it used to be to more mental.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So as a result, I think women in the workplace now tend to be thriving more than they used to, right? So when a woman makes more money than her husband, it's not because the man is worthless or the man is probably not working hard. It's just the way society has shifted to some extent. You know what I'm saying?
I got
The
you.
shift in society has caused the man's greatest attributes to not be as marketable as the woman's greatest attribute.
The physical.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow you now.
Gotcha.
So now we have to change certain things, right? So I think that's one of the eventual changes. However, when you talk about when Brandon says that if she never offers, I can understand why that would make you feel some kind of way because she has the ability to.
Correct.
Right.
And if you have the ability to do some good, to offer to help somebody, pay for something is good.
Correct.
And if you have the ability to do some good and don't offer to do the good, it would make me feel some way too.
Correct.
So that's what I was trying to develop. But I didn't want to offend anybody by using the F word.
No, I understand.
I don't know, it was hard to follow because you were
Yeah.
all over it.
No, but what I think though is that when you look at what Steve said, and when you look at the modern, you talked about being in 2023. I still think the role of a man is always hammered into even boys and young men. You should, provide. You should protect. You should be stronger than your wife. You know what I mean? You should earn more money. But now when you look at it, the conversation when you talk about the role of a woman, it's always shifting. It's always like you said, the times are shifting. She can work now. She don't have to take care of the kids now. She don't have to bring anything to the table now. She don't have to learn how to cook.
The new narrative is she could do whatever she wants to
She
do.
could do whatever.
But a man
she
can't.
can,
No
she can change it to whatever
Right.
she wanted to change to.
Correct.
And then I think maybe the guys, what Steve is referring to is like, they're saying, okay, the society and tradition is dictating or pressuring us to fulfill a certain role, but when it comes to the woman, it's like whatever y'all want to do, y'all want to do that. Yeah, it's okay. We got to have to be
It's
like, we have to be
however
okay
you're
with
feeling
that.
today, that's what you want to do.
That's
you can
what
do
you
that.
wanna
But
do.
the man, this is what the man's supposed to do. That's never going to change. That's
Right.
what the man's supposed to do. But for the women, it's always changing, right? Or
Exactly.
in society, it's always
always-
changing.
always
the rules
shifting,
are never
always changing.
the same.
But is that the nature of support, though? Isn't that the nature of support to some extent?
The nature
It
of
can
support.
be.
Doesn't support normally change? For example, we have, and I'm sorry, from an engineering mind, but I'm thinking like this. Like you have a building, right? Or you have a plant. You can use multiple things to support it, but it stays the same. The woman's role is support the man, period. It can appear multiple ways. The man's role is X, Y, Z.
No,
the
no, no.
woman's role is based on X, Y, Z.
I hear what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
I hear it, but
So
tradition-
could this be?
I think what you're saying is different from what they're saying.
Right.
Okay, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I agree with you. But I think, could it be argued that
No.
their attempts, their actions are attempts to do this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Reason being, because what you're saying is if she was finding different ways or more creative ways to provide that support, then okay.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is society is changing to where women can choose not to fulfill that initial role. They can take any path that they want now.
So taking any path, isn't that alternatives to an end?
Alternative to
No, so when we say any path, it's like they can choose to take the role of a man if they want to. They can take they can make the choice to take the role of a woman, or they can take the choice to just take no role at all. Like you're
Gotcha.
I'm just here and you support me. So those are the different options that they have. But men don't have those options. We have one job and one job alone that doesn't change. But
Gotcha.
women, it's okay. If you want to do this, you can do this. If you want to do that, you can do that. That's the issue with society today.
Gotcha.
So I hear what you're saying, and that it makes sense to a degree. But how I see it is that society is really just trying to say that women's role isn't so, it's not pigeonholed. It's not this one particular thing, which is, I think, what Kurt was trying to bring into it. Like, yes, you can do this or you can do that. But society isn't saying you can take on this other role. They're saying that role could be whatever it looks like for you.
So for
Does
instance,
that make
right?
sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But
Society today will say that let's use a career minded set woman, right? She's
Okay.
focused on her career only, no family, no kids, career oriented only.
Yes.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Same thing goes for a family oriented woman. Her mindset is set on raising her family, taking care of the house and raising the kids.
Yes.
She doesn't have a job, no career, because her life is at home raising the family. There's nothing wrong with that.
Correct.
A woman who's, like Aaron said, is just here. I'm here to do what I want. In a relationship, my man takes care of me. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are different roles that women are allowed to have.
But
As
only,
a- as
only,
a- go ahead.
only one of them involves a relationship.
no,
No.
all three.
Only one doesn't involve.
All three can have a relationship. A career-minded
If
woman
you're-
can have
if
a
you're-
relationship.
You can, but you can also be
Correct.
single. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Like society's saying, It's okay for you to focus on your career.
we're saying-
it's okay for you to
I'm agreeing
focus on
with
your
you.
family. It's okay if you...
Society is saying it's okay for all of those.
Right, but we're talking about the role
So
in a
it's-
relationship.
So I'm saying is for a man,
three things that he
it's
just
not okay for all those things to happen.
What?
For a man, we are expected to be the providers and to take care of our significant other.
Right, in a relationship. That I don't
No,
see where the disconnect is.
I think what Brandon is saying is that society views men as we always should protect, whether the woman is yours or not.
Protect and provide.
But a
Okay.
woman doesn't have to support if it's not her man. Kind of a thing.
Who would she support if she doesn't
I know.
have a man?
Like, I'm trying to ask what he's saying. That's what I'm trying to ask.
All
So
right,
is that what you're saying?
No,
Kind of a
say
thing.
The
whether-
first part, yes. The second
whether
part,
she-
no.
Second part, no. Okay.
All right, let's outside of a marriage, let's say dating, courting for a marriage.
Okay.
Couple are dating. The man is still expected to be the provider within that relationship.
What are you providing? If you're not married and you're not living together, how can you provide for
Paying for the
this
dates.
person?
Okay.
There's an
Paying,
example
paying
that
for
he gave
dates,
earlier.
that's not providing. That's
How is that not?
Providing a meal,
you're
Yeah, you're providing,
that is
providing
what,
a meal.
that's
providing
what
a
that's
good
what
time.
courting is.
providing the transportation to
Hey,
the meal.
I like you. I think you look good. I want to spend more time with you. Come with me to this place. Why don't you pay? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm not disagreeing with
No,
you.
but that is
I'm just
that
saying
is, that
that's-
is you setting up what the future is gonna look like, though.
No, it's not. Courting is courting.
You can't.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to show you that I'm a good person. I'm trying to show you that I can be a good provider. So I'm
Right,
going
for the
to do
future,
so
for
so
now
I'm
and
so
for
I'm
the
going to do
future.
these things.
For now and also for the future. You're not gonna.
Right.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, you're not misrepresenting yourself when you're courting. Right. So
Right.
with the woman, whatever she is, whatever role, hopefully, if in the courtship she's submissive or she is taking care of you, right? Hopefully, when you do get married, that continues. It's not
Okay.
like what the flavor of the month is.
But the
is
role of
gonna
the man
change.
doesn't change
Right.
from
Okay.
courtship to marriage.
So I think what I hear you saying is that the man is providing during the courtship.
the man is always providing.
Always providing.
always
But the woman should be supporting that provision throughout the courtship as well. So, for example, if I open the door for her, let's say we go to the car, I open the car door for her. She doesn't have to, but if she leans over to open my door, it helps.
Or unlock her.
It's a part of the support.
Is a part of the support.
Okay.
A women,
Okay.
this day and age, can choose whether or not to be supportive.
Exactly. So they could. So I open
That's
the
a
door for
better
her
way
to let her in. If she sits down there, doesn't open the door. If I try to open the door for her, she says, "Get up my way, I open myself." Or if she does it, it's okay. But for the man, I should always be willing and ready to open the door,
Exactly.
regardless of her action.
That's the expectation, correct.
I don't see the problem with that. And I'm really the only one.
How are you not
No,
seeing
I
the
mean,
problem?
I kind of agree with Stephon to
I'm
some
expected
extent.
to open the door. Cool.
I-
And she has the ability to choose whether to just let me do it, tell me not to do it, or to open my door for me as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree
Why
with
is that a
Stephon on that.
problem?
I don't see a problem with that. However, it is not
You're
equitable.
missing-
It's not fair.
Yeah,
but
you're
it's,
missing
I
the
don't,
point.
Okay.
So if the man is always expected to do a certain thing, and the woman, as time goes on, it changes, isn't that going to throw the balance of
Right, she
male
has-
woman
there's no accountability.
relationship? It throws
But
it out. It throws it out. of
How
whack.
is it changing though?
What do you mean? We just.
I mean,
No,
how is
I
it
know,
changing?
no. I do think it throws it off. I agree with you. However, I think that's the role of a man. Okay, hear me
role
out.
of a man is the what?
Hear me out. We're always gonna get the beating. Men always gonna get beaten. Trust me.
Because why?
Because we're men.
Why?
Okay. For example,
We're stronger.
if your kids are successful, you know what? I've heard a lot of athletes and entertainers talk about their mom. I heard them talk about their stepmom. I rarely hear them talk about their dad or even their stepdad. I never heard a stepdad get
Why is that?
Half the time they're
Why
not
is
there.
that?
Half the
Exactly.
time they're not there.
Well, we don't know that, Stephon.
I'm-
We don't know that.
Okay.
But the thing is, the only athlete I've ever heard talk about his dad is Tom Brady. Only one.
Tiger Woods.
So it means he had
I
his
heard-
dad in
I
his
heard.
household.
But he's not the one who had his dad. Other ones had their
So
dad.
all the
Kobe had
athletes,
his
all
dad.
the athletes who name their mom, who like give shout out to their mom and not their father because their father was not there. And most of the time, it wasn't because the father didn't want to be either. Like there's Tupac. He hated his dad because of what his mom told him, and then later on found out, like while he was shot up in the hospital, his dad came to see him and found out his dad always wanted to be in his life. And multiple athletes, multiple celebrities have mentioned this, that
Exactly.
they didn't like their dad or didn't have a relationship with their dad, and so there is usually, yeah, mom was there, mom did everything, but then you find out later that dad wanted to be there, but mom was the one blocking you from having that relationship with dad.
Exactly. And what I'm saying is that as a man, the woman, that's one of the imbalances that we do face, right?
Right.
Like what you just mentioned. But like Stefan said, I think that comes with the territory kind of a thing.
But it shouldn't be that way. And that goes back to the accountability. Men are expected one thing, but then the woman can choose, oh, your dad can be in your life, your dad's not going to be in life, but then they can lie and say that, oh, he didn't want to be there, but the dad is expected to want to be in your life.
I agree. It's unfair.
And that's what I'm saying. Like he said, he doesn't see, Stefan is saying he doesn't see the problem with that. It's like the men are expected to be accountable for that one thing. Women can choose to do whatever, and there's no accountability, because today I'm going to do this, and tomorrow I'm going to do that, and it shouldn't matter what I do
because there are always reasons. Women.
What reasons?
If a mother is saying whatever, is lying to her child about the father has done something nine times out of 10.
No, Stefan, you can't say that.
No, yeah, he's right. The father has done something, but to who? To the child or to the mother?
Probably to the mother.
Right. So
I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's okay, but it's not her just deciding.
So is it okay is it okay to use your children to harm your significant other or your ex? But that's what men and women are doing today.
I understand that, but
it's unfair.
I'm not sure why you would blame.
Let's bring it back to the main point. To men always having an expectation of bringing something to the table.
Yes.
Right.
And a woman can choose whether or not she wants to bring something to the table.
I don't agree with that.
But I do think what they were touching on didn't deviate from that, to be honest, because it's the same thing.
Is it? It's
the same thing, because she, just like with the abortion issue, she can choose to abort the child any time, do whatever she wants.
Let's not talk about
It's her body.
I'm just saying, it's the same
That's a
thing.
huge problem.
It's a huge problem.
Your body, your choice. I get it. That's my child too.
But it's the same thing, though. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
Stefan.
Same thing as what?
As what Andrew just brought up.
That women have the option to choose different things, but men, we don't get that.
It's the same
We
thing.
don't
It
get
is.
options.
It
It's
actually is.
one
Right.
thing and one thing only.
It actually is. It actually is.
I will say that I understand.
I'm
what you're
converted, guys. I'm converted. I'm converted. I'm converted.
It's a good talk. It's a good talk. Yeah.
Growth is necessary as a man, and I grew today.
Always.
Thanks for doing that for me, guys. So, family, we appreciate you spending this time with us, investing your moments with us, because we learn together as we sharpen each other on the double edge.
So we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Please continue to like and support us. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please spread the word. Please, send texts or talk to your friends, talk to your family members. Let them come and watch and support us, and leave comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know what issues are important to you, what issues are controversial in the kingdom of God, and we'll touch on those things. But we really appreciate your support. Help us to get to 1,000 likes, 100,000 likes, a million views, So we're here. So continue to support us and come back again for our next episode on the Double Edge Show.